Hello everyone, and welcome back to Sun Moon Audiobook, the channel where we share wisdom and inspiring book journeys to help you grow and develop your best self, inside and out. The night sky is full of stars, but when you stand beneath it long enough, you realize not every star burns with the same fire. Some shine faintly, scattered with no story, yet here and there, a star blazes brighter than the rest, daring to be singular, daring to be unlike anything around it. That is what this conversation is about. Not about being another flicker in the endless sky, but about learning how to create the kind of light that cannot be ignored, the kind of fire that changes the night itself. This is where Peter Thiel's voice enters, a man who co-founded PayPal, who invested early in Facebook, who has lived not just by building companies, but by building entirely new ways of thinking. Alongside Blake Masters, who originally sat in Thiel's Stanford class and captured his words so carefully that they became this book, their message does not arrive like a textbook or a set of formulas. It arrives like a quiet revelation, a call to stop repeating what the world already knows, and instead dare to go from 0 to 1 to make something radically new. And it matters because in a world obsessed with copying, imitating, and competing, they remind us that true progress begins only when we choose to imagine something that has never existed before. At the heart of this philosophy is the difference between going from 1 to n and going from 0 to 1. To go from 1 to n is to copy, to expand, to scale what has already been invented. It is globalization, it is competition, it is taking the blueprint and making more of it. But to go from 0 to 1, that is creation. That is the leap into the unknown. It is the difference between adding another candle to the table and inventing electricity. And this is not just business advice. It is an existential reminder. How often do we in our lives settle for 1 to n? How often do we repeat what has been done, choosing safety over originality? Yet you, sitting here right now, listening, are capable of 0 to 1 moments, capable of creating something that is uniquely yours, that adds a new star to the sky. One of the core truths Thiel speaks about is competition and how the world worships it blindly. We are taught from childhood that competition is good. That rivalry pushes us to be better, sharper, faster. But Thiel challenges this sacred idea. He says competition can actually narrow your vision. When you are locked in battle, you are not dreaming, you are defending. You are not imagining something new, you are trying to win a game that someone else designed. Think about it. If all your energy is spent on running faster in the same race, then you may never pause to ask if this is even the race worth running. Many companies, he explains, waste their lives fighting in crowded markets, struggling for slivers of attention until they exhaust themselves into nothingness. Whereas the great companies, the legendary ones, escape competition. They build monopolies not in the predatory sense of exploitation, but in the sense of uniqueness. A monopoly is a company so different, so needed, so unmatched that no one else can truly compete. And isn't there something liberating in that thought? To stop fighting for scraps and instead create a table of your own. To stop trying to be slightly better in a crowded room and instead step into a room that only you can enter. The mantra repeats, escape competition, build something unique. And maybe that mantra is not only for business, but also for life. How much of your daily energy is spent comparing yourself to others, racing in lanes you never even chose? What if you turned your back on that? What if you gave yourself permission to create your own race, your own game, your own monopoly of meaning? Another deep insight woven through this book is the idea of secrets. Thiel believes that every great breakthrough is born from finding a secret of truth that most people overlook, deny, or dismiss. Our culture today often insists that everything has already been discovered, that there are no secrets left. But Thiel argues that this cynicism is poison. There are always secrets, always truths hidden just beneath the surface of what the world accepts. The greatest entrepreneurs are the ones who refuse to accept the obvious. They are the treasure hunters who look at the world and ask, what do I see that no one else is seeing? What truth hides in plain sight? And this is not about arrogance. It is about curiosity and courage. To believe that even now there are doors unopened, mysteries unsolved, possibilities waiting for someone bold enough to pursue them. And maybe that is a question for you, listening right now. What secrets are whispering around you, ignored by everyone else? What truth keeps tugging at your soul, insisting that there is more than what you are told? Perhaps your greatest gift is hidden in the place where the world insists there is nothing. The mantra returns. There are always secrets. Always. There is also this haunting idea of definite optimism versus indefinite optimism. Thiel says our society has fallen into indefinite optimism, the belief that the future will somehow be better, but without any specific vision of how. It is a vague hope, a blind faith in progress without direction. Definite optimism, on the other hand, is when you believe the future can be better, and you also hold a clear plan, a deliberate vision, a chosen path to get there, the difference between drifting and steering. And here lies the quiet tragedy. Many of us float through life with indefinite optimism. We believe somehow things will work out, but we have no design, no map, no architecture of what we want to build. Yet the people who change the world are those who choose definite optimism. They sketch the future in their minds, and then they step into that sketch until it becomes real. This is the kind of optimism the Wright brothers had when they decided that humans could fly. Not someday, not by accident, but by their deliberate invention. It is the kind of optimism Steve Jobs had when he envisioned not just better computers, but a revolution in the way humans interact with technology. Definite optimism is not naive hope. It is disciplined belief. It is the marriage of faith and design. And you, who are listening, what if you chose definite optimism for your own life? What if you stopped waiting for the future to unfold and instead began drawing it with your own hands? The book also speaks with tenderness about the people behind great ventures, because no company is ever just an idea floating in the air. It is always a gathering of human souls, bound together by belief, by mission, by trust. Thiel insists that a startup is not just a job, not just a way to earn money. It is a tribe, a family, a sacred journey. The best startups are built not by strangers loosely aligned, but by people deeply committed to one another and to a shared purpose. This is why founders matter. This is why culture matters. You cannot copy and paste that. You cannot fake it. It is the invisible glue that makes the impossible possible. And there is something quietly beautiful about that vision. Imagine yourself not in a lonely struggle, but surrounded by others who burn with the same fire. Imagine waking each morning not to clock in, but to create something with companions who believe as you believe. That is what Thiel means when he says a company should be a cult, in the best sense of the word. Not blind obedience, but radical devotion to a common dream. And isn't that what we long for, deep down? To be part of something that matters, to join our lives to a mission that echoes beyond us? But to get there, one must dare to be different. Thiel's words remind us again and again, if you are doing what everyone else is doing, you are already losing. The path to greatness is not paved with consensus, but with courage. The courage to stand apart, to say the opposite of what the crowd says, to insist on a vision that others may laugh at. Think of Elon Musk. Long before rockets returned to land themselves, long before electric cars were mainstream, he was mocked, dismissed, even ridiculed. Yet he embodied definite optimism, driven by secrets he saw that others ignored. And now, entire industries bend around the shape of his vision. That is 0 to 1 in motion. There is also the matter of timing, a truth often overlooked. Being too early is almost the same as being wrong, but being too late means the opportunity has vanished. Thiel stresses that success lies not just in originality, but in choosing the right moment, the right wave. The world is like an ocean of unfolding shifts, and you must learn to sense when the tide is ready to carry you. Think of Facebook. In 2004, social networks already existed, but none had captured the intimacy of real identities, real connections. Zuckerberg seized that moment when the world was ready, but not yet saturated. Timing made the difference between another failed startup and one of the most powerful companies in history. And yet, this is not only about billion-dollar enterprises. It is about the rhythm of your own life. How often do you feel that pull, that intuition, that now is the moment to act? So many people wait forever, paralyzed between fear of being too soon and fear of being too late. But the truth is, there will never be certainty. There will only be faith and readiness. To step when the tide rises. To leap when the door cracks open. Perhaps that is the secret timing is teaching us. Not perfect calculation, but courage married to awareness. Thiel also points out that technology is not just gadgets, not just screens or codes. It is any way we find to do more with less, to bend the fabric of possibility. The great mistake is believing that the future will simply unfold without us. That progress is inevitable. It is not. Progress happens when someone, somewhere, chooses to create. When someone says, "I will not accept the world as it is, I will reimagine it." Progress depends on those willing to ask, what can I build that the world does not yet know it needs? And if you think about it, some of the greatest leaps in history came not from demand, but from imagination. Nobody was asking for a smartphone before it appeared. Nobody demanded an airplane until flight became possible. Great creation does not answer the crowd. It leads the crowd into a new horizon. There is also the sobering warning about luck. Many people say success is luck, that it is random, that it is out of our hands. But Thiel rejects this. He insists that luck may exist, but it cannot be the foundation of your life. To believe only in luck is to surrender your power, to live passively. Definite optimism requires that you act, that you design, that you take responsibility for building. If you believe everything is luck, you will drift. But if you believe in design, you will create. And maybe that is why some people seem forever waiting while others step forward into impossible achievements. The mantra echoes: don't drift, design. Don't wait, build. There is a moment, quiet and personal, when I remember sitting in a crowded cafe years ago. Notebook open, pen trembling in my hand. Everyone around me seemed absorbed in their lives, in conversations about things that felt ordinary. And I felt this ache, this awareness that if I did not dare to begin, I would become one of them, repeating, imitating, drifting. In that moment, I wrote a single sentence to myself: create something only you can create. That one line, fragile and trembling, became the seed of everything that came after. And maybe that is what you need right now. Not 100 steps, not a perfect roadmap, just one sentence, one seed, one whispered truth that reminds you, you are capable of 0 to 1. The book also reaches into the human heart by reminding us that greatness is not just about scale or money, but about endurance. Many ventures rise like fireworks, bursting into sudden brilliance only to fade into darkness. But the companies that truly matter, the ones that bend history, are the ones designed to last. Thiel urges us to think not just about what will sell tomorrow, but what will still matter a decade from now. He says a great business is built on durability, on foundations so strong that time itself cannot erode them easily. And isn't that what we want, even in our personal lives? Not fleeting sparks, not passing applause, but the kind of work, the kind of love, the kind of impact that still stands when the noise has gone quiet. Think of Amazon. In its early days, many doubted it could survive. The dot-com bubble burst, rivals collapsed, critics jeered. But Bezos had a vision built on durability and obsession with long-term value, with creating something customers would still depend on decades later. Today, Amazon is woven into the fabric of daily life. It lasted because it was designed not for quick victories, but for permanence. That is the invitation Thiel whispers. Do not build for today's thrill. Build for tomorrow's legacy. There is also the quiet wisdom about distribution. Many people believe if they build a great product, the world will simply come. But Thiel warns, a product without distribution is like a song no one hears, a treasure buried in the ground. Selling matters. Reaching people matters. Even the best invention needs a way to move from the maker's hands into the lives of others. This is not manipulation, it is connection. It is finding the pathways through which your creation can meet those who need it. And maybe this is true not only of products, but of gifts. You may have talent, insight, beauty to give, but if you do not find a way to share it, the world may never know. And in this reminder, there is tenderness. Perhaps you have felt unseen, unheard, unnoticed, even though something precious lives inside you. Distribution is the art of being brave enough to let yourself be seen, to let your voice travel, your work spread, your truth reach the people who are quietly waiting for it. Don't hide your gift. Don't bury it. Find the channel, find the bridge, find the way, for your light to be carried to those who need it most. Midway through this journey, it's worth pausing for breath, because the weight of these ideas can press against the heart. You may feel the sting of recognition, realizing how often you have drifted instead of designed, how often you have copied instead of created. You may feel the ache of missed moments, of dreams deferred. Let yourself feel that. It is the honest soil in which change can grow. But do not stay in despair. The gift of this book is not to shame you, but to remind you that the future is still unmade and you hold the pen. You, even now, can step into 0 to 1. You, even now, can choose definite optimism. You, even now, can uncover a secret, escape competition, and build a world that only you could have imagined. It will not be easy. The path of originality never is. People will doubt you. They may even mock you. But the question is not whether it will be hard. The question is whether it will be yours. And if it is truly yours, if it is born of your vision, then even the struggle will feel like truth. Even the pain will feel like purpose. So what can you do now? Here, in the quiet of your life. Begin by asking yourself, what is the secret I see that others ignore? What truth do I feel that no one around me speaks of? And do not dismiss the answer, even if it feels small. Great companies, great lives, great revolutions often begin with whispers. Begin by giving yourself permission to escape competition. Stop asking how to be better at someone else's game, and ask instead, what game do I want to create? Begin by choosing definite optimism. Stop waiting for the future to arrive, and instead, sketch the outlines of the future you long to live. And maybe above all, begin by daring to believe that you are capable of something more. You, right now, not someday, not someone else, but you. The mantra repeats like a soft drum. Don't drift, design. Don't copy, create. Don't compete, escape. Don't wait, build. There is something haunting yet liberating about how Thiel closes his vision, because he is not offering certainty, not handing out blueprints, but offering a way of seeing. He teaches us that the future is not a lottery ticket, not a game of chance where we wait for the winning numbers. The future is a question mark that invites us to answer it. The cynics will say everything is known, everything is built, everything is finished. But that is not true. Secrets remain, horizons stretch out, and there are still doors waiting for your hand to push them open. 0 to 1 is not about how to become the next Facebook or PayPal. It is about how to believe once again that something entirely new can emerge from your own life, something that would never exist if not for you. And so we arrive at the real heart of the message. This is not only about entrepreneurs or investors, not only about Silicon Valley. This is about anyone who feels the call to create. About you, sitting here listening. The book's wisdom whispers into every life. If you are repeating what others have done, you are only going from 1 to N. But if you dare to dream something that has never been, you step into 0 to 1. And maybe the world does not need another competitor, another replica, another echo. Maybe the world is waiting for the one thing that only you can give. Let's sit with that for a moment. The one thing only you can give. Imagine it like a seed hidden in your pocket, unnoticed by the crowd, ignored by even yourself at times. You may look around and see everyone else's flowers blooming, their trees already tall, and feel that yours is too small, too fragile. But that seed, if planted, watered, and tended with courage, could grow into something the world has never known. It could become shade for the weary, food for the hungry, beauty for the broken. But only if you choose to plant it. Only if you stop waiting for permission and begin. History is filled with stories of those who chose to plant their seed. Think of J.K. Rowling, scribbling Harry Potter in cafes while struggling with poverty, mocked by publishers, told no one would care for her imagination. Yet she held her seed close, planted it, and gave the world a story that now lives in millions of hearts. Think of the Wright brothers, mocked for dreaming of flight, yet they bent wood and canvas and faith into wings. These were not just inventions, they were acts of courage. They were whispers that became roars. And perhaps this is the truest message you can carry: courage. 0 to 1 is not about intelligence alone, or resources, or connections. It is about the courage to believe in secrets, to escape competition, to choose definite optimism, to plant your seed even when no one else sees its worth. Courage is the soil in which every miracle grows. So what can you do right now in your ordinary life? Start small, but start true. Write the sentence that burns in your chest. Sketch the dream that haunts your nights. Share the idea you've been hiding. Reach out to one person who might join you in building. Take one step toward planting your seed. And as you do, repeat to yourself the mantras that have echoed here. Don't drift. Design. Don't copy. Create. Don't compete. Escape. Don't wait. Build. Each repetition is not just a phrase, it is a choice, a rhythm for your becoming. And I want to pause here, not to teach, but to speak directly to you. You who are listening right now. You are not too late. You are not too small. You are not forgotten. There is still a seed in you, still a secret only you carry, still a future that waits to be designed by your hands. The world may never beg you for it, but the world needs it. And you will know it because when you imagine it, something inside you stirs awake. That stirring is the compass. Trust it. As this long conversation draws to a close, let it not be an ending but a beginning. Imagine the sunrise, the way darkness gives way to light, not all at once, but in slow and steady unveiling. That is you. That is your 0 to 1 moment waiting to rise. A new star in the sky, a new seed in the ground, a new song in the silence. And when you step into it, when you dare to build it, the world will never again be the same. If this message has touched you, if it has stirred something in your chest, I invite you to take one more small step. Share this moment. Like it, comment with what moved you. Subscribe so these words can continue to walk with you. And more than that, share your own insight, your own seed, your own whisper of truth. Because when you share, you are planting it in the soil of others' hearts too. And together, we can build not just companies, not just ideas, but a future of courage, of creation, of light. Please, carry this with you. Don't drift, design. Don't copy, create. Don't compete, escape. Don't wait, build. Your 0 to 1 begins now.